But on stage now, I have Rômulo.
Thanks.
Welcome, and
Thanks.
super exciting talk that you have for us.
Hope so.
I think so already. I've been looking forward to hearing more about wiremocking and how to do that with Django. So give Rômulo a warm hand.
Okay, so let's start that you have found your dream job. Now you are responsible for managing Minecraft customized servers. So you dispose some servers over the internet, and your friends can now connect to the Minecraft and play. And yeah, maybe this Minecraft servers has some difference. Maybe the creeper does not explode, but it gives you code, diamonds. Yeah, it's because you want to not play with the vanilla Minecraft. And yeah, and as the maintainer, as the manager of the Minecraft service, you have some tasks. You need to do some things. One of them is play Minecraft all day long. You need to monitor the servers, get some health status, and maybe you need to turn on, turn off the servers. And one of the tasks is maybe send some message to the players, some broadcast messages. Yeah, but you need to manage several servers, and that's not nice. You need to think, you need a tool that's going to simplify your life. So a software that you can keep control of the service, know, understand what's going on, and you need a solution that you are capable to make in a RPC and also to get a nice front end because you want to have need to administrate, and I need interface to administrate, and another in the other end you need something to talk to the Minecraft servers, and you need support for accounts, users. Maybe you are not manage the service alone. You need some friends, and you divide the work. You are responsible for half of the service, and the another your friend is responsible for the another one. And yeah, and you need to get the job done without fuss, without hassle. You just need to get this tool out of the blue and play with it right away. So you decide to go for Django. Django, you can get the job done, and you can manage the Minecraft servers. So you are on the one side, you talk to the Django, and the Django talks on your behalf to the Minecraft service, and you send commands to the Django. You get some response back from the Minecraft service. Yeah, everybody's happy. Your boss is happy because now you can do more. You now can focus on different problems. You don't need to do an SSH in the machines. The community is also really happy because you can manage better the servers. And yeah, it's a major win. But the product guys are never happy. They are always asking for changes. They are asking for new features. And also, we as engineers, we would like to move our service to the next level. So maybe we want to move away from synchronous calls to asynchronous call, or maybe introducing a queue, who knows. And you need to hand over the software, the system, to the most evil person in the world, which is yourself in the future. You know, I bet you guys have that feeling, oh, who wrote this code? Ah, that was me. Yeah, that's a bit of a shame. So you need to think in a way to manage these complex scenarios of threats, constant changes, because the only constant in the software industry is things are going to change. Yeah, that's why I'm here today to talk about a little bit about Django and Wiremock, and why it's important to make end-to-end tests, and how come that it can be easy. I'm Rômulo. I'm from Brazil, particularly for this part of Brazil, northwest part of Brazil. And yeah, and I'm from the city of Recife with nice beaches, and it's a tropical city. But I'm living here in Denmark since 2017. So far, so good. I'm happy to be here. And I got more than 15 years in experience in the software industry. I have played with Java, Go, C, JavaScript, a lot of technology, a lot of languages. And I'm a software senior engineer at Meta. It's a fintech, a nice fintech, and I really love what I do. I wake up every morning, take my bike, go to the work, and let's see what I can achieve today. So, with the experience, yeah, that happens. And with the experience, I have seen a lot of problems, a lot of bad things. I have introduced a lot of shit in production. My last one was to tear down the Kubernetes cluster of the company. That was bad. That wasn't nice. But with the experience, I also have seen a lot of tools, techniques, and the process. Python, I've been playing with Python since 2006. Yep, and it's a nice language. You focus on the problem, you get your job done. Django since 2009. Yes, and I'm from the age that even Django wasn't able to support multiple databases. Yeah, that was a really nice period. And I love Django because I can set up something really fast and get the job done. And pair programming, I really like. I really appreciate pair programming. I would love to do more of it. And it is something that when you have someone to talk, when you have someone to share ideas, things happen. You know, the synergy effect when one plus one is equal three, and that's amazing. I do recommend you guys to do more pair programming. But my focus today is about talking about this process, this technique, which is test-driven development. And in my opinion, it's not only about writing the tests first. It's not only about it. So what is TDD about, in my opinion, is to make tests simple, is to make your application testable. If it is hard to test application, then you need to let's think more, and let's make it happen. Is to embrace change, is to you no longer be afraid for introducing new features or to do some refactors. Is let's make it new stuff without fear. Is to facilitate refactoring. If it is hard to replace some part of your code with another one, then try to rethink and try to introduce tests so you can simplify your life. And also, it's about to push more design thinking to the code. When you need to make your application testable, then you need to step back. Okay, I need to figure out how I'm gonna interact with the functions, or how I'm going to interact with the interfaces easily. Yeah, and also it's a matter of making the quality as a team effort. It's not only one department that should take care of it, like the QAs. It's the whole organization. You as engineer, you are the first one to get in touch with the code. You are the first one to get in touch with the project, the product, and then you should start to think the quality from the beginning. Yeah, and I really appreciate this quote from J.K. Kepler-Moss, that a code without test is broken by design. Um, thinking that I like to think test as a formal specification of your software. You are not gonna get in a software or a project without bugs with tests, but you are gonna get some sort of process, some sort of code or documentation that is gonna make sure that your software does what it's supposed to do. Yes, and I like to think tests as real users. They are if you think that who is going to use this function, okay, the first one is going to be my test. So I need to think, hey, I need to make the life of the test easier, because at the end, when you are develop something, you are thinking in making your users to get something done, to be more happy, to be easy. So thinking also tests as real users, and then I bet that the quality of your project is gonna grow. So let's go back to our problem, to the beginning. You have created your Minecraft server to administrate. You have created spawn Minecraft servers, and you have created this administration tool. Then after you are logging on the system, you get the list of the servers that you are responsible of. The green one means that the server is live, and the red one means that the server is offline. That's a first indication that maybe something is not nice on the field. And you decide to go into the server one, and that's the screen that you get. Again, the status of the server, some metrics about the CPU, the uptime, and you get also a field, a form where you can broadcast message to the players. And you write something on the field, on the form, and you press the button send. You dispatch the message to the Django, and you get back this alert, this message that everything went fine. And on the Minecraft side, you'll see the message. The users can see the message. Yeah, pretty simple user case. But yes, and under the hood, this is the Django model. Is bear with me. This is the first iteration. This is a very simplification. I know that there are a lot of opportunities for improvements, but our focus is to get the job done. And yeah, so that's the first iteration. And you have the model, a name, you have the address, and here is the method that you actually make you send the message to the Minecraft. I'm using the request library. This is the endpoint. You have the headers for some credentials, the payload, and if something goes bad, if the request throw an exception, I return false. And if there is no exception, then I verify the status codes for 200. And why 200? Because that's what the documentation of this endpoint says, that if you get back at 200, I got your message, and now it's my responsibility to deliver to the clients. And as part of my contract, I return a Boolean that says true, the message has been sent, false, yeah, something went wrong. And you'd like to, oh, by the way, this is the view. When you call for the browser, and yeah, again, bear with me, a simplification, just to get the job done. And you get an object from the database, and you verify the payload if the payload is in the right format, and I use the method that I create to dispatch the message, and I pay attention that now I'm switching to a 204 because I don't want to send any message back to the sender of the message. I just want to say, hey, everything went fine. If not, then I return an error of 502 case I'm not able to send the message. Yeah, pretty simple. And I made this view to be login required. Only logged users can send messages. Pretty simple, get the job done, and yeah. So the first approach to assure the quality of of your application is to create a unit test. Unit test, you can mock the objects. You can maybe use techniques like dependency injection. You can maybe inversion of control, and they are meant to be simple. Don't overcomplicate the unit tests. And I do think that it's okay to use that handful database in memory that Django provides for you. So test case, no, don't reinvent the wheel. So for my model, I've created this unit test. Look that I'm mocking I get the request library mock it, and then I pretend what's going to be my expected response, and I also test that my library is getting the expected format to send it to the Minecraft server, and yeah, and finally I make sure that with this configuration I can send the message. No big deal, I guess. And also for the view is pretty similar, but instead of mocking the HTTP, the request library, now I'm mocking the object that I get back from the database, and also mocking the send broadcast message from the model. And again, verifying that I'm gonna send a response back at 204. So pretty simple unit test. And yeah, then you start to make questions. What if I want to refactor that for an asynchronous call? What's going to be the amount of effort to implement a sync? And what if I don't want to mock the HTTP library because you are entering on implementation details when you mock things? That's not nice. And what if I want to make a real HTTP call? And what if I want to be able to test fully fully end-to-end my server from local? then you need a real HTTP call. You need to call the server. There is no magic. You need to call. What are the challenges when you start to play with real servers? The first one, network is terrible for tests. You don't have control of the network. The internet is a wild environment. You can package drops, bad things happen. The internet connection may be slow. It's terrible. How about secrets? When you are talking to different servers, to third-party APIs, you usually need to provide some credentials. It's not nice, terrible idea, the idea to commit secrets on your code. Okay, maybe GitHub or CI/CDs offer options where you can configure the secrets and you can reuse it. But usually, the people that is responsible to manage the secrets, to manage the accounts, or to rotate the accounts is not the same people that is responsible to manage the CI/CD, and then it's more complication to run the tests and to configure them. And also infrastructure configuration. Maybe you are running on a CI/CD environment that you are not allowed to go to out of the internet. I don't know what kind of setup do you have it. So yeah, that's not an option. DDoS tests are supposed to be fast. So you need to test several scenarios, and which means you are going to make a bunch of requests in a very short period of time, and maybe the firewall of the third-party API can think, oh, I'm under attack. I can see this amount of requests in this short period of time. Maybe I'm under attack. Then I'm going to start to block you for this period, for a period of moment. And then your colleague cannot get the job done because now you have provoked you are blocked to access the third-party API. Also about test configuration, on our example, we are running Minecraft servers. You can download the jar, you can set up the environment, but come on, guys. We are supposed to focus on our application. If you need to run this big setup, then we need to go to a different kind of tests. And we should keep focus on the quality of our part that we are responsible. And also, it is really hard to simulate and to get server-side fails. It's almost impossible to provoke in a 500, or you want to simulate retries, you want to simulate if they send garbage to me. Yeah, that's not nice. And that means that we need a different kind of tool to provide the solution. And I do recommend Wiremock for it. What is a Wiremock? Is this big word. This is what you can read from their website. Is an HTTP-based APIs that you can mock in HTTP-based APIs. What I like to think in this way, it's a tool that places only the necessary infrastructure to fake real HTTP APIs. Just it. Just what we need. What we need, you need to be able to talk to a server through HTTP and get, based on some response, get something back. Yeah. And I've been using it for more than 5 years in any kind of, in very different projects, in Java projects, Scala project, Python projects, and it's good, and it works, and it gets the job done. So, talking more about Wiremocks. As I said, it's you get back HTTP response based on some match criteria. Those match criteria can be a regasp, can be in a particular header, can be in a particular content type, can be a request, HTTP request that you usually send to the API. You can template the responses based on the requests, which means that if you send, for example, an argument on the request, you can move that argument back to the body, to the response. And for example, if you are creating a user, and you can fake that you send the username, and then you are going to get back the username. Maybe your code requires this kind of behavior. You can simulate faults. You can introduce delays. You can return 500s. You can return 504. You can return garbage. You can return. You can drop the connection. You can simulate faults. That is really hard to get when you are playing with real servers. And what if you want to get in a test? What if you want to test the retries mechanism that we usually have in our code? For example, the first attempt you get in a 500, and then you wait a little bit, then you test again, and you get to 200. Just to test your retry mechanism or your circuit breaks, you can simulate them with stateful behaviors. You can verify the requests again. Yeah, sometimes you need to check that you made that proper request without mocking it. And you can record and playback. You can put Wiremock between your server and your server. You can record the request, save the request that you made, save the response that you got back, and then reuse them for tests, to re-implement tests. Yeah, I think that's a really nice feature to have. In order to get it run, yeah, it is in a Java application. You download the jar and run as this one. I don't know which kind of environment you have in your machines, Windows, Linux, Macs, I don't know, but yeah, this just works in any kind of environment. Or maybe you can get it as a Docker container. Simple like that. Okay. And how do you mock the requests? There is this very special endpoint in the Wiremock. It's a web server. You start, and you get URL back. Then you gonna make in a post to this endpoint. You specify what kind of request you are gonna make, and then you specify what kind of response. Sorry, you specify what kind of request you're gonna make, and then you specify what kind of response you are gonna get back. And it can be a JSON, can be XML, can be HTML, can be any valid HTTP response. You specify as a JSON, but you can get any kind of HTTP valid structure. Yep. How do you verify? If you are in the Java world, then there are more tools to verify, to make sure that what kind of request you made. But since you are in the Python, then you can use this endpoint request count, and then you can verify that, okay, based on this request that I made, I can see how many times that has been counted, how has been requested. Yeah. So our first refactor using Wiremock is our view. I'm now going to making a real. I'm gonna mock the endpoint to send broadcast messages, and then now I'm gonna just test that I'm getting the response back as I expect. Less code, direct to the point, and you are exercising the very many parts of your code. Simple, and you are not playing with a real server, and yeah, just like this. And this is the way that I do with my projects. I mock the response and call the endpoint. And here, maybe you can call directly the method instead of calling the view. You decide. What's happening here? You are running your test inside of the Django application, and the Django and the test thinks that they are talking to the Minecraft service. The database is there to exemplify that it's a complete solution. But in reality, you are not talking to Minecraft service, you are talking to Wiremock. But pay attention to this line. What kind of information I'm getting here is I'm dependent of the Django framework to set up the environment for me. Or maybe I can not touch some parts of the code that I know that's problematic. And yeah, so that you are inside of the Django context. But your users, your real users, don't care that you are running in Django. They don't care. They don't just want to use your interface. So you need to go up on the abstraction layer. You need to move out from the Django. And then is when the end-to-end test starts to make sense. They are agnostic to serverless framework. They speak the language of the interface. And they are pretty similar to integration tests, and but you are only allowed to use the public interface. You are not allowed to use the backdoors that you implemented, because your real users, they are not aware of them. And yeah. And you want to test your solution from end to end entirely. And you start your server as production, but using the test configuration. Yeah, you are not going to hit the real production, the real third-party API. You are going to read the Minecraft, the Wiremock server. And the data should live only during the execution of the test. You spin up your server, you run the migrations. If your migration includes some scripting, then you execute it. But after you tear down, then the data should be gone. You should not reuse the previous test. And this is the kind of test that I like to think that they survive a major internal refactor. If you decide to update your Django library from 3 to 4, your end-to-end test should not be affected by this refactor. If you decide to move away from Django to, for example, Fast API, if you are running RESTful interfaces, then they should not be affected by those refactors. And yeah, how does it look? Your test is pretty similar to the test that you implement for the view, but now I'm going to use the request, the library request, and I'm going to use the session. I log in, get the credential, put in the session the cookies, mock my object, and then I test it again my endpoint. And be aware that here I'm not talking to Django. There is no reference to the Django here at all. Yeah, from the top level, your end-to-end test now is going to hit your application as a black box. You are not aware, but the external part, it should be aware, right? You are testing your application. You are not testing the full environment. Now is a black box. Again, you have in a database, a live database, and your application thinks it's talking to Minecraft, but in reality, it's using Wiremock. And what if you don't have tests at all in your application? That happens. Sometimes that happens. So I do recommend you start creating end-to-end tests. A Wiremock is great for this case because, as I said, you record and playback. You save the request that you are making to the third party, and reuse the information that you have saved and to load the Wiremock again. Don't do it programmatically. That's a lot of work to do. Yeah, and then this is the pyramid, the test pyramid. I think that you guys are aware of it, and you should focus in have more unit tests and service tests than UI or end-to-end tests, because those kind of tests are very expensive and are very slow to run. Yep, and if you want to debug, it's pretty. If you're having a problem in production, I like to debug using end-to-end test. What I do is I reuse the very same setup. I start my dependencies manually. I'm not going to start altogether, and then I start my Django application in debug mode, maybe from your IDE, but it's in a way that you are able to debug your application. And then you load the Wiremock with the dependent data in behavior. And then you are going to start to create the end-to-end tests against the problematic endpoint of flow. Sometimes it's not just one request that fails, it's a sequence of requests. And you set the breakpoints at the Django application, and then you start to have fun debugging while write the test that confirms the bug. You iterate over until you are able to reproduce the bug. And finally, you fix the bug. You have write the test that confirms the bug. That means that the test proves that there is a bug in your system. You're going to fix the bug, and now your test should break because you have fixed the bug. And you fix the bug, then you fix the test. And at the end, what you have is a setup, a suite of tests that proves that you have fixed that bug, and any new change is not going to introduce that bug again. Or at least you are going to be aware that, oh, maybe, look, you are going to break this flow. Yeah, that's what I would like to talk today. Questions?
so much. I heard that this was your first talk in public.
No.
Or it was.
yeah, kind of in English, yes.
It was super good.
Then after 5 years more, and I'm back to the stage. That was the first
super
time
good.
in English.
Really well. Yeah, are there any questions from the audience? Yeah.
I'm worried about test pollutions, test pollution between end-to-end tests, because you make this mapping and you test something.
Yep.
I'll just try it.
How do you handle that?
Yes.
How do you handle test pollution
Yes.
with the interest in
Yes.
wiremocking?
Wiremock provides an endpoint that you can reset all the environment. You just call that endpoint, and everything is going to be reset. It's with one call. It's going to be like at the beginning of the tests.
So you have to do that at teardown.
Yeah.
Not teardown, but
Maybe a teardown of after you run the test, the individual one. Yeah. Or maybe you can randomize your data. Yeah.
That spawned another question.
you wrote that you could have the mappings as files.
Yes.
Does that mean that, like, for Git, you can have like this mapping loaded up in the test?
Yes. Yes. Well, Wiremock provides you a folder, a folder where you can load your JSON files, and so you don't need to programmatically write the mocks. So you can, for example, I like to do this to test a very big setup, a very big payload. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you test stuff like latency?
Yes.
Can you test latency?
Yeah, sorry. Yes, you can simulate latency. You can simulate latency. You can simulate. Yeah. You can for example simulate. You send 50% of your payload, then you have a delay, and then you send the left part. You can simulate. There are very advanced techniques that you can simulate to simulate faults.
I have a question from myself. You showed that you can run it in a Docker container and also as a standalone jar.
Yes.
Is there a simple recipe for getting this up and running in a CI, like GitHub Actions, Travis, Circle CI, all that?
Like this, I'm not aware of it. I don't know, but yeah, I have this way that is like a bonus. Is a test container. This library is pretty nice. You don't only have a possibility to spin a Docker container from your Python code, and but also you can spin Postgres. You can spin the local stack if you need, for example, to test AWS. Local stack is great because you can retrieve credentials like you are using Boto, and you can retrieve the credentials. This library test containers is great to simplify this process, to spin up and tear down the Docker.
Mhm.
Yes, I really like this, and but of course that is dependent of the Docker ecosystem. Yeah.
Yeah, and would you run it as a container that you start and stop for every build?
Yep.
Yeah. And earlier we heard about Colo. And do you see like a connection between the Colo app and
That was the
Wiremocking?
first time that I heard about Colo, and and I have not reflected about it, but I think they play in different fields, right? And one is for inspection at the runtime. This one is more for testing. And
yeah, it seemed there was some latency issues in Colo by calling a real endpoint. So maybe Colo can also discover new things that way. But yeah. Any other questions from the audience? Yes.
Are you using Minecraft directly, or are you using something like Squigget or Bookit as a wrapper?
Yeah, it is. And for this case, I'm using Paper, and yes, to spin the server, and they provide a nice RESTful endpoint, so you can manage the Minecraft servers.
I couldn't repeat the question because
sorry.
I am not from the Minecraft universe.
She's asking if I'm using a kind of a plugin, or I'm using the vanilla version of the Minecraft servers. So if you customize one for the community, I guess that's your question, right?
Yeah. Yes. I see there are no questions from the internet. So our next talk will begin in 9 minutes, 10 minutes. It means that we can have a short break and perhaps some of those drinks that we do have in the fridge can be made available. Thank you so much for the
Thank
talk, Rômulo.